the need for cheap basic transportation in post-war Italy. It is a decision that will forever change the course of Ducati. In 1946, Ducati builds a tiny engine called the Cucciolo and mounts it to an old bicycle frame.
That's the beginning of the story, the seed that grows the tree of tradition in Ducati. That engine was the Cucciolo, or in English, puppy.
The Cucciolo makes just 1.5 horsepower, but what's really important about the tiny little engine is that it is the first new mechanical device of any kind to be manufactured anywhere in post-war Europe. The remarkable success of the Cucciolo will lead to Ducati's first complete motorcycle. In 1950, Ducati introduces the 60 Sport. It is the first true Ducati motorcycle with a top speed of 40 miles an hour. The 60 Sport paves the way for Ducati's next great milestone. Only it's not a motorcycle. It's a man who is fascinated by racing. In 1954, the company hires a young engineer named Fabio Taglioni. He is a recent graduate from the University of Bologna, one of Europe's oldest universities and a school famous for its science and engineering programs. But it's Taglioni's passion for racing that transforms Ducati forever.
The genius idea of Taglioni was creating the first ever race bike, the Grand Sport. In 1956, Taglioni developed for Ducati the first concept of a 125 Grand Prix Desmo. The bike was not developed for being a bike for races on the road, but races all around the world.
Taglioni's creation of the 125 Grand Prix Desmo instantly creates a type of dual personality for Ducati. On one hand, Ducati makes its money selling street bikes to the public. But on the other hand, its sales are the result of the fame Ducati achieves on the racetrack. Ducati's racing image becomes immortalized in 1956 when the 125 Desmo wins the Swedish Grand Prix. Ducati's racing legacy continues to grow in the 60s with an English rider on board a very special Ducati. One of 2,000 Ducatis all bought by just one man.
Mike Elwood was just a boy of 19 years old in 1959 when he was officialized as a Ducati rider. And the father came in Ducati and paid for a bike, the 250 twin-cylinder Desmo, just for him. These days, no fathers can pay to his son, even if he could be a master of speed on MotoGP or Superbike.
Actually, Mike Elwood's father, Stan, couldn't convince the factory to build just one bike for his son. So he orders 2,000 motorcycles. The result? Mike Haywood becomes a legend on the track. And Stan Haywood becomes the very first Ducati dealer in Britain. A decade later, another English rider, Paul Smart, would ride another new Ducati racing bike to victory.
We started with the 750. It was the bike that allowed to Paul Smart and Bruno Spaggiari to conquer the first and the second place at the 200 miles of Imola in 1972. We beaten the scary monster of that age, Giacomo Agostini, with the Envy Augustas.
Paul Smart's victory over Giacomo Agostini in the 200 miles of Imola is the foundation of a new Ducati tradition, winning races with modified street bikes. While Agostini's scary monster is designed by MV Agusta just for racing, Paul Smart's Ducati is a customized version of a motorcycle that anyone could have gone out and bought in 1972.
They may be production bikes, but they're production race bikes. They are the foundation on which Ducati's built its reputation and racing success.
Paul Smart's win at the 200 miles of Imola on a Ducati 750 is also one of Fabio Taglioni's crowning achievements as head engineer. The success of the bike reinforces the genius of a unique engine layout Taglioni creates, an engine layout called an L-twin. This basic design becomes a hallmark of future Ducatis.
We continue to make a large displacement air-cooled engine. It's an L-twin, Ducati L-twin. It's part of the tradition of Ducati. That's one of the reasons. And it's important to us because it's very much in line with our philosophy of lightweight sport bikes.
Fabio Taglioni's legacy is truly unique. Rarely, if ever, does one man's work continue to define the production and development of an entire motorcycle brand.
He loved to design racing bike, and from time to time he designed also production bike. That was where we were be, you know. And so this is part of our history. We started the World Superbike Championship, and we never stopped racing World Superbike.
The success of Taglioni's L-twin engine sets the stage for Ducati's domination of World Superbike racing.
Next decision was to hire Carl Fogarty. That is one of the milestones of our brand. We won an incredible 4 championships with him.
Carl Fogarty's 4 championships delight the Ducatista community. But it's the bike he rides that truly gets the glory. In 1995, Ducati shocks the world with the introduction of the 916. It is a motorcycle that captivates both riders and non-riders alike, becoming the icon of what all sport motorcycles should be: sleek, powerful, sexy, and successful on the racetrack.
916 became so popular at the time, like Vespa in the early 40s, for motorcycle enthusiasts. There have been no other concept of this bike had been so able to capture the interest, like love at first sight.
The best bikes ever of the 90s, that was 916. Everyone in the planet loved this bike.
The 916 is the creation of Massimo Tamburini, one of the greatest motorcycle designers of all time.
Diciamo che se bisogna distinguere.
My intent was to give a strong personality to our motorcycles. This is how the low headlights were born. I had to convince them all by never letting go and keep pushing my idea. A serious issue came up with the rear part of the motorcycle. As I am a very picky person, we created the double mufflers in the back that make the motorcycle recognizable from a distance.
It was just sex on wheels. It really was. I mean, it just looked like it was going 120 miles an hour sitting still.